Hello friends, greetings of the day. Welcome to the online session of Business and Commercial Knowledge. In this session, we are learning chapter number 4, that is Government Policies for Business Growth. Friends, we know that in India, we started economic reforms in 1991. In this particular session, we will learn the need for these reforms. Why did the government started this economic reforms? What was the need? Was everything working properly? No. If everything had worked properly, reforms would not have been required. But there were certain kind of problems, and because of these problems, Government of India was forced to start economic reforms. And as a result, the economic reforms in 1991, which is commonly known as LPG policy, that is liberalization, privatization and globalization, these kind of reforms were started by government. And these reforms, why they were required, the need of that particular reforms are explained in this session. So during the planned regime with the high rate of taxation, dysfunctions were visible in different areas of the economy. That means during the planning period means when economic planning was started in 1951 to 1991, that is considered as a planned regime or 5-year plans, which are commonly known. Now during these 5-year plans, the government charged heavy taxes on the business sector, and as a result, the businesses were dysfunctioning, and as a result, economic growth was very low. Most of the public sector undertakings were running under loss. Government owned businesses that are known as public sector undertakings. Now, government owned businesses were also facing a heavy loss, and because of that, also there was very poor performance of these public sector businesses. That was also the need for reform. Their efficiency remained very much poor, and per employee production, that is called productivity per employee, was very low, and that was also a force for reforms. That was also a reason for reforms, because government wanted to increase the efficiency of these public sector businesses. Strong trade unionism, that means under this public sector businesses, the employees had started trade unions, that means union of the laborers, and these unions were always going on the strikes and creating lockouts in order to disturb the production. This was problem not only in the public sector but also in the private sector. Now because of such kind of trade unions, the businesses were not properly working because of this disturbance of these unions. So government was forced to start reforms. Then restrictions in the trade stunted the quality of Indian products. There were so many restrictions put by the government, and as a result, the businessmen could not produce good quality products, or it could not export the products in the foreign country. India was always helped by Soviet Union. We were getting help from the Soviet Union, and now Soviet Union was also broken down, as we know that Warsaw Pact was fallen down and socialist model was no longer a good model. So Soviet Union changed its economy. As a result, India also changed its economy. In mid of 1980s, Soviet Union got broken and 15 independent states were formed. Capitalism got a new breeding ground in Russia, and other erstwhile Warsaw Pact nations like Poland, Albania, Czechoslovakia, Hungary and Bulgaria. These countries were following socialism, but now they also understood that socialism will no longer be helpful. That is why they also accepted capitalism, and as a result, India also changed its mixed economy following these patterns. Questions were raised on Indian mixed economic system. Government of India started various experiments on its way to economic freedom. So our mixed economy was also no longer working well. The world raised questions over mixed economy. So we were forced to replace the socialistic model with the capitalism. The socialist part of the mixed economy had to be replaced and we were forced to accept capitalist part. India had mortgaged gold at Bank of England and foreign currency loan was arranged for meeting foreign currency reserve. Now in order to repay this loan we required to earn revenue, and revenue could be generated only if we started new economic policies, and that was also a reason for new economic reforms. In 1992, finally, the government took a revolutionary step and opened up the Indian economy. Government started LPG, that is strong private sector. Liberalization was implemented for private sector. Private sector was given priority, and government withdrew the hand from economic activities and started several private business activities. Many loss-making public sector enterprises were decided to be closed or divested by the government. That means government now no longer wants to run such kind of loss-making businesses, and these businesses were handed over to private sector. Some public sector enterprises were first corporatized and the capital was valued, and it was decided that a large chunk of shares would be sold to the public. That means government started disinvestment in such kind of public sector businesses so that the shares of such public sector companies, that means government owned companies, are sold to the public, so government could get finance out of this disinvestment. The process was known as disinvestment, as I said. Further, a number of private sector banks were given license to run banking processes, banking operations, and by that also government started withdrawing its hands in finance market also from banking sector also. So banking sector was also privatized. So these were the needs for reforms, and because of that government of India started economic reforms in